Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, Laker fans, I'm with you. I'm frustrated with the rest of Lakerland. We were hoping we would be able to get Dan Hurley. And either a guy's going to take a job or not. That's not the frustrating part. It was the psychological roller coaster that we were placed on. I'm sure I have some hand in that, being a talking head, putting a lot of those pointers out in the air that were handed to us all by sources that were claiming to be in the know or insiders. So I don't want anybody to think I'm excluding myself. It's just a lesson learned, man. We gotta be more careful about how we word things. Details that are not being provided to us by the people involved should be taken with a grain of salt. More allegedly like wording needs to be put in place so that people don't think things are a done deal and find themselves confused when things happen and they don't know who to blame or believe they know who to blame or what have you. In this situation, we were told $100 million, 8 years was on the table, and that was not on the table. That's what it seems. And so that would have changed a lot of how we thought in regards to the situation. If we would have had a chance at a actual deal that looked like it was really, that was actually aligned with what it is that's actually happening, then our expectations would have been in a proper space instead of where it is right now, which is that we would have a chance to outbid UConn entirely, only to find out that they were able to match what we were offering, for which was not being rumors. Which was $70 million, 6 years. That was not what was going on out there, and I do feel frustrated that I believed it, that we were going to actually make him one of the highest paid coaches ever, instead of lowballing him to a degree and putting him in a position to be able to match what he had going in the UConn. So, yeah, man, I'm frustrated about that, and I want everybody to know that I've learned a hard lesson in this situation to be more careful about how I word things myself. So, yeah, man, Dan Hurley, like I said, I'm not gonna sit up here and pretend like I'm not a little salty. You know what I mean? I'm frustrated. I got all the thoughts in my head that come with that, but I just don't think they're properly pushed in the right direction when you point them at the person who made a decision, a good decision for himself, according to most people who are not biased. Non-biased voices say he shouldn't take the Laker job. So I just have to accept that as a Laker fan, that our reputation stands as a team that is unserious. We lowballed Ty Lue. We made bad decisions by keeping coaches around and firing coaches that should have never been hired in the first place. Maybe it would have made more sense for the media narrative that we would have kept coaches around longer, even though I didn't agree with that. I'm of the mindset you get rid of something fast if it doesn't work. But I also see the other side of it right now when people are saying he didn't take the job because we fire coaches every 2 years. I would rather fire coaches every 2 years if they suck than to keep them around so people like that can have a different narrative. They're going to burn whatever side of the narrative that you have. If you do something, they're going to burn it no matter what. So I'd rather us get rid of stuff that doesn't work than keep stuff around so that people like that can have the right stuff to say about it. So yeah, man, I don't find myself feeling pretty good, man. This is a tough start to the week for Laker fans. Obviously, there are bigger things in the world than sports, and we respect that and we talk about it. But just for what it is that we are all passionate about, this is a tough start of the week. The Celtics are up 2-0 in the finals. Doesn't look like the Dallas Mavericks are in a position to even get a game out of this. So likely, we're going to fall behind the Boston Celtics once again after tying our championships with them at 17. It looks like 18 is right around the corner for them, which is really unfortunate because they haven't won in since 2009 when they beat us. That was the last time they won a championship. So it's not like we sit up and watch them win championships every year. We finally get a chance to tie them, only for them to pass us up within 4 years. So once again, and judging by how our things are moving, it doesn't look like we're going to have another chance at a championship before they get another championship after that. So the distance between us and them continues to remain with us behind them. When we know damn well we won more of our championships more recently than them, who ran up a lot of championships when there was only like 17 teams in the league or even less. So, we are frustrated. We're a frustrated fan base. And I do find myself resentful of the roller coaster that we're on at this moment. I didn't know who Dan Hurley was 6 days ago. So for me to say that I'm heartbroken or something like that is disingenuous. I didn't know who the hell he was. But once I learned who he was, I came to understand I should be excited, and I became that. Him going back to school is probably the right decision for him in a lot of different ways, especially, or going back to UConn, which is a school. But going back there to continue his legacy as a two-time defending national champion. He was not going to win a championship with the Lakers this year, probably not next year either, probably not the year after that either. So if it's all about winning, then you definitely stay at UConn, and I can't deny that. I think we could have built something big with him, but more so it would have been us benefiting from his great system, helping us reach our highest peak, for which we don't have all the assets to put together what would make that system worthy of a champion in this league, and we know it. With only 3 picks to trade and one player 40 years old that everyone is hell-bent on keeping until he retires, half of our value goes out the window, so that can't be brought to Hurley. And then Anthony Davis, whom nobody wants to trade, and if we were to trade Anthony Davis, we'd suck any damn way, so that's not going to be worthy of Dan Hurley's system. So if I'm being honest with everybody, he made the right decision for winning. And so if you put the same amount of money on the table that the other side, who has the winning available to him in theory, can provide, then there's no reason for him to choose you. Taxes are more so out here, real estate's more so than out here, so the $70 million that you're offering ain't going to go as far as the $70 million he would have had at home, where he was most comfortable and been winning the whole time. It was the right decision for Hurley, and we should have made it so that it wasn't, by offering more money. That's really what it comes down to. I think $100 million out the gate gets him. And put it like this: if the Lakers were serious about making the offer something he couldn't refuse, then they would have gotten him. Period. You got to make the offer something somebody can't refuse. And while I was on board, and I've been on the record saying I don't think we should make him the highest paid coach ever, because I saw what Detroit did, and Detroit made a big decision that they ultimately want to undo, and it's too late now because they paid too much to their coach, Monty Williams. But this ain't Monty Williams. I could argue Monty Williams was a good coach, but I say that he's leaning toward the average side of good rather than good. And last year was a very bad year. So I don't think he should have been given a 10-year deal or whatever they gave him. That doesn't mean that Dan Hurley, coming off of 2 national championships, should be given less than what was rumored. So $100 million, 8 years, I think would have gave him a hell of a commitment to consider. But 6 years at a $70 million is something that his other side could match. And so that's what that is. It's just not. It's not enough to get a guy to come do it. It's just not enough. So I don't know, man. Obviously, the easy way of looking at this is he didn't want to coach LeBron. LeBron runs the scene, so nobody wants to come here and be his puppet and all of that. And those talking points. I don't know how much truth that holds, but I do think that the media has done a great deal of molding us into looking at LeBron James a certain way over the years. So if you just run with that narrative without questioning it at all, they've done their job. That's basically what it comes down to. Just like any other narrative in our country. If you get it embedded in your head, you're going to think that's what the truth is, as opposed to maybe questioning the what's behind it and whether or not it was put there for a reason. And, it is what it is. I think it's low-hanging fruit to blame LeBron for everything. And I'm just not going to buy into that today. I'm not buying into that today. I don't think that had anything to do with why Dan Hurley didn't keep the job. If anything, one of the reasons why he would even be willing to listen to us is because we have someone like LeBron James on the team. If he wasn't on the team, I don't even think Dan Hurley probably even wants to listen to the Lakers. So, these are the type of things that we have to just be real about. We didn't put a compelling enough offer on the table to sway him into a situation where he would have to rebuild his legacy and reteach his stuff and relinquish control of the roster and all these different things that really make college coaching attractive to certain guys. There are college coaches and then there are NBA coaches. If you're going to get an NBA coach to the college ranks, that feels like a demotion. If you're going to have a college coach goes to the NBA ranks, that feels like relinquishing control. So, that's what it really comes down to. Neither side really wants to flop unless they're compelled to do so in a very serious way. And if you're one of those guys that wants to coach 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds and like the recruiting process, coming to the NBA ain't going to feel all that great to you. You lose all of that. The NBA is more about managing whatever you get. They put whatever on the plate, you're going to eat it. That's more like the NBA. And not everybody's wired for that. Not everybody, especially a guy who's thriving in the college ranks. So that's part of it, man. I don't find myself disagreeing with his decision. Not for him. In the grand scheme of things, I would have liked for him to take our job. But if you're not for this, it's good that you don't take the job and then find out you're not for this and then find yourself unhappy, not doing the job, hurting your legacy and all that. So I don't blame Dan Hurley at all, man. I just want the Lakers front office to be successful. I kind of feel bad for them. Everybody's killing them for the whole thing, and I think whoever put that $100 million 8-year rumor out there, I think the Lakers got a gripe with that source, whoever that is. Whoever did that hurt the Lakers a lot in the eyes of public opinion because the front office is already struggling. And to put out there that they had a deal in place that wasn't out there, only for that deal to be reneged upon when the guy declines it just feels like sabotage, really. Somebody wanted to stick a sword in the side of the front office. So make it look like we were offering something that we were never offering. They can't come out during the process and say, no, we're not offering that, because they're in the middle of negotiations and in the middle of trying to get this guy to take the job. But once you put that out there, you either force the Lakers to actually up their offer to that point, for which that could be a functionality of it. Could have been somebody on his side telling everybody it was 108 years, but $100 million 8-year deal. But on the other end, you find yourself wondering if it was somebody on the media side of things that ultimately wanted to screw the Laker front office over, or try to up his leverage for UConn, or a combination of both. Woj looks a little crazy in this situation. Wojnarowski, he looks a little nuts in this situation because he reported something to us that went directly against what the other main character source, which is Shams, was telling us, which is the job was going to JJ and they were already assembling. It looked crazy that JJ would never have a chance of not having this job. It was something like that being released. Like, it looks like JJ's just imminent to take the job, and then the next day we got Dan Hurley coming from Woj. You fast forward 5 days and Dan Hurley goes back to UConn. The number that was told to us about the $100 million 8 years was false, but he does get a chance to up his leverage and get a better contract than what was on the table with UConn. Woj looks like he look a little funny in the light right now. I'm just put it like that. He looks a little funny to me. And Shams looked like the guy who kind of was playing it smart in regards to this. Didn't really involve himself in something he didn't have a source for. And it's been said that Wojnarowski has a close relationship with the Hurley family. So I just find myself a little frustrated with Woj on this one. I would have, and I'll say it like this: I really appreciate not being on roller coasters that boost your friends' opportunities of getting jobs. I get it, the Lakers are the big shiny toy, but it's getting to a point where I'm starting to really resent the people that use us to leverage other people into positions where they have to overpay for somebody. I said the same thing about Jimmy Butler's situation, ironically, a couple of days ago, putting on the Laker the Sparks uniform, saying all this about purple and gold. Anytime anybody gets upset with who they're with, they start threatening to come to LA. I'm starting to really resent all of y'all who are doing that, because you're putting our fan base through a lot, and we really care about our team, and we don't ask. We're not asking to be used in this way. It's bad enough we have a funny reputation with all the haters out there that don't like us winning, which is their, that's their prerogative. But the media tends to poke at that, and we end up getting the short end of the stick. And I do not appreciate it. I'm just putting it out there. I don't like that. So yeah, man, this is one of those situations where I felt like we got Kawhi Leonard a little bit, although Kawhi's situation is a bit more personal, given the fact that it was a lot being said about him choosing us and the free agent pool was drying up and all of that. But I think what ends up happening is you start looking around and saying, while all this was happening, who was in charge? While all these disappointments have been taking place, who's been running the show? And Rob Pelinka's been at the top of a lot of these things, man. And Jeanie Buss, of course, owned the team. So it's them that ultimately also look a little crazy in the situation, so to speak, to say, why is it that things don't never work out? Why is it that the stuff we hold on to, it seems like it's being held on too long? Why is it that we can't seem to have a good handle on keeping a reputation as a serious organization? It's either, however it gets painted out, we end up looking bad. However it gets painted out, we end up looking like we're cheap. However it gets painted out, we look like we're unserious or like we're trying to scapegoat or whatever. I want this front office to come down on the media if what is being painted isn't true. That's what I want them to do. To get these media guys, sue them, something. Do something to these folks who are painting you out to look as incompetent as it appears you are. That's how I feel today. Sue somebody. Do something. But regain the seriousness of what it is that you are. Because at the end of the day, that's what's hurting you, is your reputation. And if things are not as they seem, which I'm getting the feeling they're not, then y'all got to fight back. Y'all got to fight back. You can't keep letting people drag your name through the mud, throw monkey wrenches in your negotiations, leak your information and all different types of stuff, and paint our players to look as if they're doing this and that when they're not, prop up certain people as if they're in charge of things when it's really not like that. Whatever's going on, defend yourselves, because at the end of the day, if you can't do that, then it looks like all of this is true. And if all of this is true, then we really have a problem with you, the front office. And so I'm of the mindset that, hey, people are trying to sabotage the reputation of this front office. It's easier for me to go to that than to look at all that's been going on, see the media's presence in the middle of all of it, giving us a bunch of stuff that ain't necessarily true, speaking on things as if they're facts, and then when they pan out the opposite way, they scurry back and say, well, it's too much of that going on. The middleman hops in, stirs up a bunch of mess, and then walks away and lets Jeanie and Rob take the blame for a lot of what ultimately goes on. Mistakes have been made, yes, but without the presence of that middleman media giving us little lies about what's going on, painting the picture as if certain things are imminent when they're not, telling us that things are close to happening when they're not, I see a disruptive energy that ultimately is very, very effectively making our front office look a lot worse than it actually is. That's what I see there. A disruptive energy. A Tasmanian devil-like entity in place, spinning around, popping off lies and different things, painting things a certain way that ultimately we're not doing. And so that's what I want to say, man. While everybody's telling the ideas about blaming this person in the Lakers side of things, blaming that person on the Lakers side of things, all I see is a media that loves to use us to make things happen. Loves to paint us out to look a certain way or make us look like the most incompetent thing because it gains views. And then the national sentiment of the Lakers is that we're unserious, and yet nobody can get enough of us. It's like they can't stop talking about us, but everything they say about us is unserious. It's like the LeBron narrative. First half of the 2000s. They hate him, but they can't stop talking about him. So as a result, everybody talks about him, and in turn they hate him, and it's like that makes you relevant. I'm sick of that. As it pertains to my franchise, I'm sick of it, personally. It's like that reverse effect. Let's make everybody talk about us. Let's be unserious. Everybody's paying attention to us, but not for the right reasons. And everybody's rooting against us. It's just, it gets to a point where you're like, all right, man, I'm sick of all that. I really am serious about my team. I'm really serious about basketball being played the right way. I'm serious about championships being won the right way. And I'm not in for all of these psychological roller coaster trips that the media uses our franchise to create for themselves. I'm kind of sick of it. So that's what I want to say. That's my exact point of view right now. I never should have heard anything about 100 million 8 years. Never. I should never have thought that Kawhi Leonard was coming to the Lakers. Never. You understand what I'm saying? These are things that go back many years. Never should have been hearing about J.J. Redick becoming our coach, only to find out Dan Hurley was coming around, only to find out Dan Hurley was not. These are media-created narratives. The Lakers are trying to find a coach. Yes. But do I need to believe that we're going to get a guy to ultimately to find out that he's not coming, and you prop it all the way up just to think it's going to happen only for you to let me down? I don't appreciate that. I don't like my head being toyed with like that. National media. That's what I want to say to y'all. So, again, I'm disappointed in myself for not seeing through that in regards to this Dan Hurley thing. I'm not mad at Dan Hurley. I don't know that the front office is not pleased with this narrative so that it keeps our team relevant, but I'm telling y'all, as a private fan of the team, as a private citizen, I'm sick of my head being toyed with. Okay? I'm serious about that. As a fan of the sport, I'm sick of having people manufactured hatred for our team. It's bad enough that a lot of them are jealous of us because of our winning over the years. They're jealous of us because we had certain things work out in our favor. And that's natural. We don't need people to manufacture more hate just to gain attention for themselves as they talk about us. I'm sick of it. So that's where my head goes today, man. Dan Hurley made the right decision for himself. Congratulations to him and his family. I've felt the relief of realizing I didn't have to leave home. So I know how that goes. I thought I was going to be in the East Coast last year. I didn't want to go there. I'm a West Coast guy. They're East Coast people. They didn't want to leave. You can offer somebody a million times more than what they're making. If they don't find themselves being happy, leaving where they're at, it's going to be a part of them that want to stay. And so the fact that they're able to stay, I think could be a good thing for them if that's what they really want. And they really do got a good thing going there, man. I don't disagree with the national sentiment that he made the right decision as it pertains to you're winning here, you know, that kind of thing. So I get that. But as far as the manufactured narratives about blaming Bron, blaming these people, blaming them, this was what you thought was coming and that ain't actually happened, see, those people are incompetent narrative, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that anymore. I'm tired of being toyed with like that by the media who's been telling me who to hate, who to love, and who to not take seriously for as long as ESPN and them has been making money. They've been telling us who to care about, who not to. I'm sick of all of you. I really am. So that's what I want to say, man. That's my exact point of view. My name is BDO44. I thank you all for watching. Bye.